Hey Libra, it's Rebecca from Being Human Tarot here with your March 2019 reading. I'm sticking with the same 3-card spread that I've been using in past months, even though I kind of like teased last month that I was going to switch that up. So that's that. I really like it a lot and I could still switch it up, but I'm keeping it for now. I'm reading with the Enchanted Tarot, which is the particular deck that I have is an anniversary deck with huge cards. Look at how big these cards are. So they were hard to shuffle, and the pro though is that because they're so big, there's a lot more room for detailed illustration, and hopefully like once you see the cards that you picked this month, you'll be able to kind of like appreciate that. So as a reminder, the 3-card spread, the first card indicates what to focus on this month, the second card indicates what to set aside for the month, and the third card is an additional consideration for the month. I'm going to go ahead and get into your reading. You have a powerful month ahead, Libra, because you every single card you drew is major arcana, so it's like big picture stuff. And your focus for the month, kick you off, is the Lovers. Move it in a little bit to hopefully focus on that illustration better. So this is really going to be a month about your own self-love and kind of like reconciling any potential issues you've had with that in the past, which like we all have on some level, right? I don't think there's a single person in existence who, even if they're covering it up with other coping mechanisms or like ways of dealing with it, doesn't have some self-love issues. So it's totally normal. It's nothing like chaos. It's just, and there's a lot of different Libras, and so people are going to be experiencing this month in different levels for sure too. But it's a great time for big change in this arena. So if you've been considering something like therapy, but have maybe been dragging your feet on it for a little while because maybe you've never done that type of thing before and it's intimidating, now is a good month you're just going to have a little bit of an extra boost behind you. So it's a good time to capitalize on that and try it out if that is something that you have been thinking about before. If therapy isn't your jam, like maybe it's more of a time to talk with trusted friends and family members about what's been going on and bounce sort of like ideas off of them, as well as get their opinions about might be going on. I mean, always be careful and like take other people's opinions about yourself with a grain of salt, because depending on who the person is, they might not have your best interests in hand. Which is unfortunate, but will happen even with people we're close with. But it's a great time. I'm sorry, I'm laughing at the illustration on this particular card a little bit because it's just sort of a little theatrical. Like there's obviously some kind of like romantic ballet happening. So maybe if you just think about your focus for this month is starring in the romantic ballet of self-love in your life, like what do you need to do for there to be like a happier ending than like what's currently going on with you, and like what your trajectory is if you don't change anything about your relationship with yourself. So think about that. I mean, like it's heavy stuff, it's big deal stuff, it's major arcana stuff, and it's kind of like that old adage, which is completely overused, but it's one that doesn't make me roll my eyes, because I feel like there's it is so true, that like how you can't like fully love and be there for another person in like a healthy way if you don't love yourself first, right? Because it just, you'll project things, and it's just like a million other reasons, and I'm not in any way a licensed health professional, so I can't really speak to it beyond that, but it's a real thing. In your position of set aside, you drew the World. Virgos also drew the World this month in their set aside. And as I said to them, the World is typically not a card that anyone wants to set aside, because it's a very like powerful cycle complete card. It's the last card in the major arcana, and it's an exciting card to draw. It's like, what, I got the World, like something, something great is gonna like get capped off. Maybe it's like, just to give one complete random example of like a world-like situation, is maybe you've lived in one place for a long time, and then you've kind of like not been as in love with it lately, and then you get like a job offer that's like a job you're super interested in, and like another place that you're super interested in living in, and they're gonna like pay your relocation costs. Like that is a chapter complete, and you're on to like great stuff. So that being said, in your set aside, I think what it's actually saying for you this month, because of the placement of the Lovers in your focus, is that you don't need to go after and kind of like lust after the like level up card when you haven't finished the Lovers. I forget how deep in, is it numbered? Oh yeah, it's the 6th card. So I believe there's 24 cards. There's 20 or 24 cards in the major arcana, and so 6 is not even close to leveling up, if you're going to go sequentially, which is not how it always works. But they are laid out in that order for a reason, because it's kind of like, the archetypes are often kind of hit in certain stages of our lives, and sometimes there's a natural progression where you kind of need to deal with one thing before you're like elevated enough to deal with like the next thing and then overcome that. And so it's fine that you're not here yet, even if you like to be. We'd all like to be here. I can think of like 5 different things going on in my life that I would like to be in a world stage in. A world stage. Thinking of that like Madonna song, All the World's a Stage. But I'm not there in those things, and that's okay, because I'm in other stages with them before I can get here, and those are powerful and important, and it's not like a poor reflection on me that I'm not here yet. People can like take their entire lives to get here for something that other people got through when they were like an adolescent, right? We all just have different timelines and shit for how we move through life and problems. So problems is a little bit of an oversimplification, but I think you get it. So just, try to think about your focus this month of working on yourself, and in particular, because working on yourself can mean like a million different things, but your relationship with how you see yourself and how you treat yourself primarily. In your position of additional consideration, you drew the Wheel of Fortune, which is another powerful, exciting card to draw. And the Wheel of Fortune is kind of just, you know, within the scope of this reading, it's definitely a reminder that sometimes we just have to roll with what's going on. And that ties in very well with the world being in your set-aside. We can't control how shit goes down sometimes. It's just gonna... We can't control other people, but we can control ourselves. So, you know, it's really a time to be in control of the things that we can be in control of, like our self-perceptions, how we treat other people, which can be like super interlaced with our own self-perceptions, right? So, it's time this month to be thinking about that kind of stuff rather than all the other stuff that's external, that maybe we're either like we haven't gotten there yet with ourselves, or it's just like we never would have had control over that in the first place, which is the Wheel of Fortune. Because it's just like sometimes the world is just gonna do what it does, you know? Like, he didn't vote for Trump, but he still got elected. That was, you know, I'm not sure how I feel about that example for what I'm trying to convey here, but we do what we can. I'm not saying that just voting was like, well, that I put in my 2 cents. I think that, like, when it comes to political activism, there's a lot more than we can do, besides vote. Voting is a great start. But anyway, that was a tangent, not super related to this, but what I'm trying to say is some things are just out of our control, right? We just can't control everything. And so it's good to focus on the things we can and to kind of let go and shed and not freak out about the things we can't control. Doesn't mean give up or not care about. It just means like to have a level of acceptance with that. So that's your reading for this month, Libra. I hope that you found it useful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. I upload this suite of videos for all the signs before the 1st of every month. And if you hit the bell icon after subscribing, you'll be automatically notified as soon as I do that. So it just makes it a little bit easier to know once your video is up for the month. And that's it. Thanks for joining me, and I hope I'll see you next month, Libra. Bye.